Hey, period 1 students, this is the second part of today's lesson. Can you believe that we have hit the Covid-19 anniversary for ASM? That means that 1 year ago, yesterday, Monday, was our first day of online learning. So if you remember, you went away for White Week and you never came back for grade 5. It started off by maybe just being a week and then we'd be back. And then it was 2 weeks and then it was maybe a month, and it just kept being prolonged and prolonged until you came back as 6th graders. So it's important, I think, that when big events happen, like with COVID-19, even bigger events like the Holocaust or 9/11, it's important that we commemorate these events, that we stop, we reflect, we think about what's happened, we think about our responses to it, and then we think about the future. And this is our opportunity today to do just that. So although I've used the word anniversary, which is normally used in a positive sense, when we're excited about something and we celebrate, I don't necessarily mean it in that way here. So 1 year ago today, or 1 year ago yesterday, we left school for 4.5 months. You came back as 6th graders. So much changed in our lives, so much changed in the lives of millions of people around the world. And I think it's important that we stop, reflect about this. We remember about all the sacrifices that people have made. And you know what? So much still hasn't returned to normal. So if you just stop and take a moment to look around the classroom, and you can see everyone wearing masks. You can see everyone sitting 1.5 meters apart in assigned seats, in rows, facing the front. It's never normally like that in my classroom, let me tell you. There's normally so much more group work and freedom. And if you think about what you did when you entered the classroom, you sanitized your hands. The windows are open right now. Some of us are probably not traveling during White Week like we normally would. Some of us haven't been home for months and months if you live in a different country. Life as we knew it has not returned to normal, and it probably won't until we are all vaccinated. But there is hope. There is hope that things will return to normal, whatever normal means. So I would like us to take some time to reflect about how we've changed during this time. You remember that we are a part of history right now. This has never happened before, and we are living through it. It's almost like we're in a Hollywood movie. So, I would like us, Mr. Rutherford has some questions that he would like you to think about. What have we lost during this time? But also, what have we gained during this time? And some of you might think, well, I've gained nothing. This is a terrible time. But I think that personally for me, I have learned what makes me happy, what the small things in life are that I appreciate. I don't sweat the big stuff now. I don't sweat the small stuff now. I don't get as worked up about small things that don't really matter. And you could also think about what we have learned about ourselves, about the world in which we live, and about our society. And that could be like our friendship circles, our families, ASM, Milan, Italy, like the bigger, wider world. What have we learned in this time? And Mr. Rutherford would like you to do a reflection activity, looking back over our time with COVID-19, with online learning. ASM went from being a at-school learning environment to being an online learning environment overnight. If you weren't here last year, you still had your own COVID-19 experience, so reflect about that. So if you imagine yourself talking to your own children in the future, what will be the highlights and the lowlights of the pandemic? What COVID stories will you remember and tell? My COVID story will be the story I shared with you during the personal narrative unit about my journey from hell back to Italy. That will be a COVID story that I will tell Monty in years to come. And what have you gained or learned, or how have you grown in the past 12 months? And what have you lost, or what do you mourn from the past 12 months? So we are going to do a write-in activity now. You are going to write about something that you experienced during COVID-19, during online schooling, something that happened to you in the last year. Think about maybe, a way to get you thinking maybe is think about the best experience you had, or the best thing that happened to you during this time, and the worst thing that happened to you during this time, just to kind of kickstart your ideas. And this is the format that you're going to share your reflection in. You could write a poem. So I realized what wonderful poets there are in grade 6 with the recent poetry activity that we did about Amanda Gorman. So you could choose to write a poem. You could write a short story like I did with my journey from hell. You could draw a picture with dialogue and captions. You could draw a comic strip. You could write a haiku, which is a Japanese type of poem. Normally, it is 3 lines. Normally it's 5 syllables on the first line, 7 syllables on the second, 5 syllables on the third line. But you can write 5 words, 7 words, 5 words, if you like. Or you could write a tanka, which is, again, a Japanese poem, but it's 5-7-5-7-7, so it's a bit longer than a haiku. You could write a collection of Twitter posts with hashtags. Remember that a Twitter post has a maximum of 280 characters. You could write a detailed Instagram post. Remember, like we did for Jonas in The Giver. So you could Google Instagram template and write an Instagram post. You could write like a chat conversation between you and a friend, you and your parent, you and a sibling, showing like an event that happened. Or you could write in character. So you could pretend to be COVID-19 if you wanted to be really creative. You could write as a doctor. You could write as a Prime Minister of Italy or the President of the United States if you're American. You can write in any way you like. We are going to share this with Mr. Rutherford. And then some of the best examples of writing are going to be chosen to go into this year's ASM yearbook and the literary journal. So take the rest of this class to write your reflection about COVID-19 in the last year. You don't have to finish it in this class. You can finish it at home if you want to over the long weekend, but we will also take 10 minutes of the next class to work on this. So during the last poetry activity we did, you showed me what amazing work you could produce in 20 minutes. Do the same thing now. If you have any questions, ask your partner, or if they don't know the answer, email me.